We speak frequently about the Saints' offensive success indoors, in particular in New Orleans, but this was an offensive juggernaut in Santa Clara as the Saints made the trip to the Bay Area. First time since that memorable playoff loss in 2012. That was at Venerable Candlestick. This was at a different stadium. This result was different. The Saints got revenge as they whipped the 49ers in the Rickey Jackson Bowl, 41-23. No defense, right? 571 yards for the Saints, 486 for the Niners. But yes, defense, because the Saints defense created 4 turnovers in this game, and then Mark Ingram got out of the doghouse and into the penthouse as he rushed 15 times for 158 yards and a touchdown. All in all, a very good result for the Saints, and I know their defense was like a sieve in the first half, but you got to give them credit. Allowed only 3 points in the second half, forced 4 turnovers. They were facing a well-rested team coming off of a bye that had to be well prepared. Bye teams hadn't lost a game until this one in the NFL this year. So, Brian, this is a good win. I know it came against a team that's lost 7 straight. I know the 49ers can't stop the run, but this is a good win for the Saints.
Yeah, I agree, and that's a great stat. I didn't realize that about the bye team. That's a great stat. Yeah, you know, the only thing I'll say is that they had to win it, okay? I mean, it was a must-win at that situation, because if this club is going to achieve any of its goals, it had to win this game. And it was a little scary there, you know, going into the second half, but they did a great job, and they ran the ball effectively, as we've said on this podium many times, and they're balanced. 2 straight games. I think it's 77 run plays against 74 pass plays in the last 2 games. To me, that's winning football, and that helps you overcome even a sieve-like defense on occasion. So keep it up. It's great.
Sometimes numbers tell the story. Sometimes they don't. But, Ricky, under Sean Payton, the Saints are now 40-4 when they run the ball 30 times or more. So, to me, that's a very telling number. Now, I know the game situation can dictate it, but still, if you're running it more than 30 times, that means you have balance. That means you're in the game, you have a shot, and obviously that has been big for the Saints under Coach Payton.
What it allows you to have, too, is Drew Brees not getting hit so much. I mean, right now, when you go and just sit back there knowing that Drew Brees got to throw the ball, he get hit a whole lot. But when you mix the run and the pass up where you don't really know what bag he coming out of, it'd be a lot more safety on him, too, and he can stay fresh. And when he gives the ball off 40 times, he throw it 40 times, that keeps the defense off balance.
You know, Kenny, what I give credence to more so than the Frisco game, because San Francisco's rush defense was just pathetic, really. But they kept the ball, they kept trying to run the ball against Seattle, and they were successful enough to, you know, keep the defense on the field, which was a great ploy for them. So I really think that it started with Seattle game and it's carried over. And congratulations to Mark Ingram. Okay, Mark took a lot of grief from us on this set here. But he came back strong and had probably one of his better games in a year or so.
Well, Brian, you're saying he took a lot of grief from us. The only thing we're doing is the same thing everybody else doing.
No, I understand.
Right, if he run the ball like he did over the weekend, that's what you're looking for. I mean, he was
there's no grief here.
Right, he was the first round draft.
We're just stating fact, that's all.
I mean, he ran.
And we all like the guy.
Absolutely.
He's a good guy, and he's well liked in the locker room. I mean, we want him to succeed. We're just stating fact.
Right, and he ran yesterday, and like he was mad out there, but run. Okay, run like that every game.
No, I agree with you. Absolutely.
And
you know what he did? He outran. He ran out from that DB too. So that was good.
I mean, it took for them to put another running back in there to set him on the bench for him to make this kind of adjustment and start running. Great.
Well, I think we made the point very clearly that both guys were needed. Both guys were going to play. That's exactly what happened. And by the way, Tim Hightower ran the ball well.
Yes,
also,
he
didn't have the cavities that Ingram had, but still, you give Mark Ingram an enormous amount of credit. Speaking of ground dominance, boy, it was pronounced where the Saints were concerned. Look at these numbers, 248 yards for the Saints, the most rushing yards under Sean Payton as head coach of the New Orleans Saints. In fact, it's the most rushing yards in a game by the Saints dating back to the Rickey Jackson era in 1990 was the last time the Saints had a rushing game like this. So imagine that special stuff. And oh, by the way, in 1990, it was probably a good idea that they ran the ball very well because that's the year that Steve Walsh and John Fortgate were splitting time at quarterback and it didn't go so well at that particular time. With all due respect to my great friend John, that was a tough year. Saints went 8-8. They made the playoffs, but lost to Chicago. So just a memory, flashing back, just telling the truth, that's all. So as a result, when you look at their ability to run the football, the one thing we haven't mentioned is our offensive line. Brian, Teron Armstead went out early in this game. Andrew Speed moved to left tackle. Then Kelemete came in. And this offensive line did an outstanding job.
I agree, and it seemed like they didn't miss a beat. And it's a perfect situation. You've got two good backs. You can't have enough good backs in the NFL, just like you can't have enough good cornerbacks in the NFL. And if they can keep Hightower and Ingram happy, satisfied, and running the ball well, that's going to be a plus finishing up this season.
And I tell you what, though, man, the biggest pickup was getting Jarvis Evans back. I looked at him yesterday. He manhandled his guy the whole ball game. And I mean, just picking this guy back up, nobody didn't want him because he was getting a little old on the other side of the bridge. But, man, did he play a great ball game.
Yeah, how do you figure that? And the Saints let him go. Maybe money had something to do with it. Seattle got him. They let him go. And then the Saints take him back, and he's playing well. I mean, how do you figure?
I mean, because once he's the type of guy that as long as you're coming in the front of him, he can play. He just don't have to move. That's the only thing. You can tell he's getting a little old. Maybe his movement kind of going away, but as long as they're coming down the middle of him, he can handle his business.
Very good point.
When you look at Seattle, and Seattle can use offensive linemen, and so for him not to make that club, makes you wonder. But, boy, I'll tell you what, the Saints are happy to have him back, I'm sure.
Well, the offense was superb, and let me make another point here. Drew Brees is terrific. We know that. He just does it every week. He was great again. No turnovers as well. But Michael Thomas, I know Zeke Elliott might be the rookie of the year in the NFL, but Michael Thomas cannot be far behind. This guy is a warrior. What a football player. Great routes, great hands, great toughness, no fear, and he's doing it week after week, Ricky. This guy is a player.
And I'll tell you what, man, he's tough. Tough as nails. I've seen him the last 3 or 4 weeks. He will slap you down. He will do anything it takes to get open and catch that ball. I mean, he got a great future in the head of him. I just hope he stay healthy. And
then Sheldon Rankins and Delvin Breaux got back on the field for the Saints. Brian, that's encouraging.
Absolutely, and it comes at a good time. And, they're going to be probably on pitch count, snap counts, and so we'll see what happens with them. But Michael Thomas, what a great touchdown catch, huh?
Fantastic. Speaking of defense, bend but don't break. When you look at the Saints defense, here it is. It's ugly numbers. 486 yards on only 57 plays. The Saints gave up 8.5 yards per play, and they won the game by 18 points. Go figure. No team has lost a game in 3 years, averaging 8.5 points a game, 8.5 yards per play, I should say. But the 49ers lost the game, and they lost by 18. So it speaks volumes about A, the Saints defense getting turnovers, B, their improved play in the second half, of course, C, the fact that the offense scored 41 points for them.
Yeah.
You definitely can see, though, Kaepernick is their best quarterback. I mean, and the way, whatever coach trying to run, whatever kind of wildcat system or whatever system he's trying to run out there, you can see that he's the best quarterback for that team.
Well, the Saints made him look good for a while.
Right.
I mean, the bottom line is he had receivers running wide open in space, and they weren't hard throws to make. The guy's got physical talent, but he's still not an accurate short thrower, Brian, and that's ultimately what cost him, is you've got to be able to make those automatic throws in the short to intermediate game.
I agree, Kenny. You looked at the second half, and Kaepernick was really on target there for the first half into the third quarter. Then he went through that funk that he always does.
7 straight misses,
yes.
Yeah,
and bad misses, not just misses, bad misses. And so, that speaks volume. It's amazing. That's a dysfunctional football team right now. It's amazing how far they have tumbled in a short period of time.
All right, if we want to find one other thing to pick on where the Saints are concerned, it has to be the kicking game, because their kick return game was negative. Their kick coverage game was poor. I mean, kick returns outside the 30-yard line continuously, and then their kick return game, I mean, with all due respect to Travaris Cadet, I mean, he's not that guy. I mean, they've got to get better than that back there, don't they?
We need some speed back there, really.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at college, how all these guys busting, every day through college. You just got to get some speed back there, somebody who can hit it and take a home run.
Well, they need a good decision maker too.
Sure, he comes out of the end zone after stopping and hesitating.
Right, and look, there's a lot of times where Peyton's got to put Jarris Bird back in there to catch a punt.
Well, remember the previous week where he kind of interfered with Tommy Lee
Yeah,
Lewis?
yeah, exactly.
I mean, again,
those are going to hurt you, then they will hurt. So you're right, absolutely right.
Yeah, and of course, Lasco could be a guy, but he was out for this game. Right. Lewis was inactive. Murphy was inactive. You might have to have somebody active that can do that moving forward.
Absolutely, and again, for Cadet to make these kind of decisions, you've got an opportunity to do something here, young man, and you take the bull by the horns and make good decisions.
But all in all, Ricky, this was a mature win. This is the kind of win a mature team wins. When they're supposed to win against a lesser opponent, against a team that's fresh, waiting for you at their place, you go out there and win. I call that a sign of maturity on the part of the Saints.
Well, I mean, Drew Brees, that's the number one thing that the Saints have going for them, and he made great decisions with the ball. And I mean, he hit the open man, and he get it to him right and at the right time where a guy can do something after the catch. I mean, as long as you got Drew Brees, you got a chance. And if he's not the MVP this year, I don't know who is. I mean, you can look at around the league, but right now, half season for them to be 4-4. I mean, they not, he deserved the MVP to me so far half of the season.
I'll tell you what, Derek Carr in Oakland's having a really good year. There's 3 or 4 guys, but Drew Brees has been fantastic. No question about it. sportNOLAtv is presented by our good and great friends at Premier Kia of Kenner. Thank you to Troy Duhon and the entire Premier family. Premier Kia is serving the greater New Orleans area and LaPlace communities. Premier Kia of Kenner is the dealership to choose when you are in search of an affordable car. Premier Kia carries a full collection of new and crossover Kia models. Premier Kia of Kenner is conveniently located at 2712 Veterans Boulevard. Stop by and check out the big inventory and great deals at Premier Kia of Kenner. We'll talk NFL football when we return in a moment on sportsNOLA TV.